Gabriel Torres, a single father, drained after 3 years of balancing being a parent and a corporate employee, was meant to submit a proposal on schedule. But when he opened the incorrect door, his entire existence halted. In the space was not a meeting table, but Elena Winters, a billionaire CEO, changing attire, entirely startled, entirely unprepared to encounter anyone. An impossible instant had occurred, and from that instant, Gabriel's position, future, and spirit were all about to be transformed upside down. Gabriel remained in the corridor with his back pressed against the surface. His hands were trembling. The proposal folder had dropped somewhere near his feet. He could not advance, could not respire, could not think past the image seared into his mind. Elena Winters, partially dressed, observing him with those frigid steel eyes. He was finished, completed. 3 years at Apex Industries erased in 4 seconds. The structure hummed around him. Fluorescent illumination, distant voices, the faint chime of elevator doors. Everything sensed surreal, like the instant before a vehicle collision, when time extends thin and you observe everything approaching, but cannot halt it. Someone passed. A woman from finance. She glanced at him, but did not decelerate. Gabriel compelled himself to advance. He collected the folder, adjusted his tie, proceeded toward the elevator with legs that did not sense like his own. He had awakened that dawn, the identical way he awakened every dawn. 6 a.m., alarm blaring, Maya's small voice from the adjacent room inquiring if it was waffle day. It wasn't waffle day. It was never waffle day on Wednesdays. But she inquired anyway, because she was 7 and hopeful and still trusted her father could create miracles occur between coffee and carpool. He had kissed her forehead, prepared toast, assembled her lunch with the crusts removed the way she preferred, transported her to school while she sang along to some melody about dolphins, departed her, observed her rush toward the entrance with her backpack bouncing. That image always remained with him. The backpack, the way it was excessive for her small frame, the way she never glanced back, because she trusted he would always be present when she emerged. Then he had transported to Apex Industries, stationed in the distant lot because senior personnel occupied the close spots, rode the elevator to the 9th floor, sat at his desk in the corner of the open workspace plan where nobody perceived him unless something went wrong. That was his existence. Awaken. Keep Maya alive. Keep his position. Repeat. He was not meant to be anywhere near the executive level today, but his supervisor had been ill. The quarterly proposal required to ascend. Someone had to submit it. Gabriel had volunteered because he always volunteered, because he required to be the dependable one, the one who appeared, the one who did not protest. Meeting space, C, 15th level. That was what his supervisor had stated. Gabriel had occupied the elevator, proceeded down the pristine corridor with its transparent surfaces and abstract imagery that probably cost more than his annual compensation. He had examined his watch, 8 minutes until the executive meeting. Sufficient time. He had extended for the door handle, pushed it open, and his existence had imploded. Now he sat in his vehicle in the parking lot. It was nearly afternoon. He had no recollection of departing the structure, no recollection of proceeding to his vehicle. His dark hands gripped the steering mechanism. His telephone buzzed, a message from the school, reminder about early dismissal on Thursday. He deleted it. His hands were still trembling. Elena Winters did not understand his name. She had never observed him before today. She was a figure you observed in enterprise emails, in the transparent walled meeting spaces on the top level, in the annual assessments that celebrated another record-breaking year. She wore sharp attire, communicated in clipped sentences, terminated people with the efficiency of someone canceling a subscription service. The enterprise called her the Frost Queen, not to her face, never to her face, but everyone understood, everyone sensed the cold. Gabriel had observed her once in the entrance hall. She had proceeded past him without a glance. He had sensed small, invisible, which was acceptable. Invisible was secure. He was not invisible anymore. His telephone rang. Unknown number. He let it proceed to voicemail. It rang again. Identical number. He answered. Mr. Torres, this is Julia from Executive Relations. Miss Winters would like to observe you in her workspace at 1 p.m. today. 15th level, Suite B. Please confirm. Gabriel opened his mouth. No sound emerged. The woman on the telephone waited. I'll be present, he finally stated. The line terminated. He sat in the vehicle for another 25 minutes. Then he transported to a coffee establishment, ordered something he did not consume, sat by the window, observed people proceed past. Normal people with normal difficulties. People who had not just committed career termination. At 12:45 he transported back, stationed, occupied the elevator, proceeded down the corridor towards Suite B. His spirit hammered against his ribs. The door was solid wood, expensive, a small plaque displayed. Elena Winters, Chief Executive Officer. He knocked. Enter. Her voice was calm, controlled, the identical voice that had stated nothing when he had stumbled backward and closed the door 4 hours ago. Gabriel stepped inside. The workspace was larger than his residence. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the metropolis. Minimalist furnishings. A desk that appeared like it had been shaped from a single portion of black stone. Elena sat behind it. She wore a different attire now, slate gray, perfectly pressed. Her natural hair was pulled back elegantly, her deep brown complexion luminous in the afternoon illumination. Her expression was unreadable. Sit, she stated. He sat. She observed him for a long instant. He attempted to meet her eyes, failed, observed at the rim of her desk instead. Mr. Torres, you submitted the quarterly proposal this dawn. Yes, you were meant to deposit it in meeting space C. Yes, you did not deposit it in meeting space C. No. I opened the incorrect door. I'm deeply sorry. I didn't intend to. She held up one hand. He ceased communicating. I examined your proposal last month, Elena stated. The one about streamlining client integration. Your supervisor dismissed it, stated it was excessively ambitious for someone at your level. Gabriel blinked. He had no comprehension where this was advancing. I disagreed, she continued. I believed it demonstrated initiative, clear thinking, an understanding of our inefficiencies that most senior personnel don't possess. She opened a folder on her desk, slid a single sheet of paper across to him. I'm launching a pilot initiative. 7 months, small team. Your proposal as the foundation. I desire you to lead it, Gabriel observed at the paper. It was a project outline. His name was already typed at the top. I don't comprehend, he stated. Elena leaned back in her chair. Her expression did not alter. This dawn was unfortunate for both of us, but it doesn't alter the fact that you possess a beneficial concept, and this enterprise requires beneficial concepts. I don't create business decisions based on embarrassment. I create them based on worth. You possess worth. Do you desire the position or not? Gabriel's mind could not process what was occurring. He had proceeded in here, expecting to be terminated, possibly escorted out by security. Instead, he was being handed the opportunity he had been desiring for since he started operating here. I desire it, he stated. Beneficial. You'll report directly to me. We'll meet twice weekly to examine progress. I expect results. I expect professionalism. I expect you to prove that my decision was correct. Comprehended? Comprehended. She rose, extended her hand. He rose as well, shook it. Her grip was firm, brief. Julia will transmit you the details. Your first meeting is Friday at 10. Don't be late. I won't be. He turned to depart. Mr. Torres. He halted, observed back. Elena's expression was still unreadable, but something in her eyes had shifted, just slightly. The door was unlocked, she stated. I should have secured it. The mistake was not entirely yours. He did not understand what to state to that. So he acknowledged, departed the workspace, proceeded down the corridor in a daze. The elevator doors closed. He leaned against the surface, released a respiration he had been holding for hours. His telephone buzzed. A reminder, collect Maya at 3:30. He examined his watch. 1:20. He possessed time. Gabriel transported to the school, stationed, waited. When Maya came rushing out, backpack bouncing, he scooped her up and held her firmly. "Father, you're crushing me," she stated, but she was laughing. "Sorry, sweetheart, just content to observe you." He sat her down, opened the vehicle door, assisted her into her booster seat. "Did you possess a beneficial day?" "Yeah, we learned about dolphins." "Did you possess a beneficial day?" Gabriel observed at his daughter, her luminous eyes, her eager face, her complete trust that the realm was beneficial, and her father would maintain it that way. "Yeah," he stated. "I believe I did." He had no comprehension what arrived next, but for the first occasion in 3 years, he sensed something other than exhaustion. He sensed hope. The first meeting was scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m. Gabriel arrived at 9:45. He sat in the waiting area outside Elena's workspace, with a portfolio of notes he had remained up until midnight preparing. His tie sensed excessive. He loosened it, tightened it again. Julia glanced at him from her desk, but stated nothing. At precisely 10 a.m., the workspace door opened. Elena remained in the doorway, identical sharp attire, identical unreadable expression. "Enter," she stated. He followed her inside. She gestured to the small meeting table by the window. He sat. She sat across from him. "Proceed me through your implementation strategy," Elena stated. Gabriel opened his portfolio, began communicating. She listened without interrupting. Her eyes remained on him. He could not determine if she was impressed, or bored, or calculating how rapidly she could replace him. When he finished, she tapped one finger against the table. "Your timeline is optimistic," she stated. "I can adjust it. Don't adjust it. Optimism is useful. Just be prepared for delays." She pulled out her own folder, slid a budget breakdown across to him. The numbers were higher than he expected, significantly higher. "You'll possess access to these resources. Use them wisely. I don't tolerate waste. Comprehend it." They operated through logistics for the next hour. Software requirements, personnel allocation, reporting structures. It was all business. Professional. Efficient. But every occasion their eyes met, Gabriel sensed the burden of what had occurred on Wednesday. The door, the frozen instant. The mortification. If Elena sensed it too, she did not demonstrate it. When the meeting concluded, she rose, extended her hand. He shook it. Her grip was the identical as before. Firm. Brief. "Next meeting is Tuesday. Identical time. Bring preliminary data." "I will." He departed, proceeded back to his desk on the 9th level. His colleague, Adrian, leaned over the partition. "Detected you obtained a promotion, operating directly with Winters now. Something like that." Adrian whistled low. "Rather you than me. That woman doesn't smile, ever. Beneficial luck, man." Gabriel did not respond. He opened his laptop and commenced to operate. The second meeting advanced the identical way. Professional, focused. No mention of Wednesday. The third meeting. The fourth. By the conclusion of the second week, Gabriel had ceased examining his tie every 5 minutes. Ceased rehearsing his updates in the elevator. Elena was demanding, but fair. She inquired hard questions. Expected clear answers. But she also listened. Actually listened. Which was more than most executives accomplished. On the 5th meeting, something shifted. Gabriel was explaining a bottleneck in the client intake process when Elena's telephone buzzed. She glanced at it, frowned, silenced it. 3 minutes afterward, it buzzed again. She ignored it. "Continue," she stated. He continued. The telephone buzzed a third occasion. Elena collected it, examined the message. Her jaw tightened. "Excuse me." She rose, proceeded to the window, answered the call. "Father, I informed you I'm in a meeting." "No, I'm not attending the fundraiser." "We discussed this. Because I possess an enterprise to manage. Goodbye." She concluded the call, remained there for an instant with her back to him. When she turned around, her expression was smooth again, controlled. But Gabriel had observed the crack. Just for a second. "Where were we?" she inquired. The intake process. They finished the meeting, but something had altered. She was not just the Frost Queen anymore. She was a person with a father who contacted during operating hours, with an existence outside these transparent surfaces. The next meeting, Elena inquired about his daughter. It was casual, a throwaway question at the conclusion of their discussion. "How old is your daughter?" Gabriel glanced up from his notes. 7. Her name is Maya. Childcare must be difficult with this schedule. I manage. My neighbor assists when I operate late. Elena acknowledged, did not elaborate, but the fact that she inquired at all sensed significant. By the 4th week, they had descended into a rhythm. Meetings were still professional, but the edges had softened. Elena created a dry joke about corporate bureaucracy. Gabriel laughed. She almost smiled. Almost. One afternoon, they concluded a meeting early. Gabriel rose to depart. Elena glanced at her watch. "Have you possessed lunch?" He had not. "No. There's a decent establishment 3 blocks down. We can continue the discussion there." It was not an invitation. It was an extension of the meeting. That was what Gabriel informed himself as they rode the elevator down together, as they proceeded side by side through the entrance hall, as they sat across from each other in a quiet bistro where the tables possessed actual tablecloths and the menu did not list prices. They communicated about the project, market trends, competitor analysis. Then Elena inquired about Maya again. "What does she desire to be when she grows up?" Gabriel smiled. "Last week it was a marine biologist. This week it's a pilot. Next week it'll be something else." "She sounds adaptable." "She is. She possesses to be." Elena positioned down her fork. "How long have you been on your own?" 3 years. Her mother departed when Maya was 4. Decided parenthood wasn't for her. "I haven't detected from her since." He had not intended to state that much, but Elena's expression had shifted. Something gentler. Something almost like understanding. "That must be difficult." "It is. But Maya is worth it. She's the only thing that creates sense." Elena observed at him for a long instant. Then she collected her fork again. "You're accomplishing well with the project." "Better than I expected." "Thank you." They finished lunch, proceeded back, did not mention it again. But the next week, she suggested lunch again. And the week after that, it transformed routine. Meetings, lunch, conversations that started about operate and drifted into other things. Elena mentioned her father's relentless social calendar. Gabriel communicated about Maya's obsession with constructing blanket fortresses. Neither of them acknowledged what was occurring, that the surfaces were approaching down, that the Frost Queen was melting. Then arrived the afternoon in late November. Gabriel was in Elena's workspace. They were examining quarterly projections. His telephone rang. He glanced at the screen. The school. He silenced it. 40 seconds afterward, it rang again. "Identical number." "Answer it," Elena stated. He accomplished. "Hello, Mr. Torres. This is Principal Martinez. Maya is in the workspace. She states no one arrived to collect her. We've been contacting your emergency contact, but there's no answer." Gabriel's stomach dropped. "What time is it?" 3:45. School dismissal was at 3:30. He had forgotten, completely forgotten. He had been so focused on the presentation that he had lost track of time. His neighbor was meant to collect Maya today, but his neighbor wasn't answering. "I'll be present in 25 minutes, Gabriel stated. He rose, grabbed his jacket. "I'm deeply sorry, I possess to advance. I'll transmit the updated numbers tonight." He was halfway to the door when Elena communicated. "I'll transport you." He turned. "What?" She was already standing, already extending for her coat. "Your vehicle is in the distant lot. Mine is in the executive garage. We'll be present faster. Advance." They occupied the elevator to the underground garage. Elena's vehicle was a sleek, black sedan that probably cost more than Gabriel's annual compensation. She transported with the identical precision she brought to everything else. Efficient, controlled, but rapid. Gabriel contacted the school, informed them he was advancing. His hands were trembling. He had never forgotten Maya, not once in 3 years. He was the dependable one, the one who appeared. "She'll be acceptable," Elena stated. Her voice was calm, steady. "I forgot her. You were operating. It occurs. It shouldn't occur." Elena glanced at him. "You're not a deficient father because you lost track of time once. You're human." They pulled up in front of the school. Gabriel jumped out, rushed inside. Maya was sitting in the workspace with her backpack on her lap. Her face was red. She had been weeping. "Father." He scooped her up, held her firmly. "I'm deeply sorry, sweetheart. I'm deeply, deeply sorry." "You forgot me," she stated into his shoulder. "I understand I erred. It won't occur again." He carried her outside. Elena was standing by the vehicle. Maya observed at her with wide eyes. "Who's that?" Maya murmured. "That's Miss Winters. She operates with Father. She provided us a ride." Elena stepped forward, crouched down so she was eye level with Maya. "Hello, Maya. I've detected a lot about you." Maya studied her. "You're beautiful." A smile flickered across Elena's face. Genuine, brief, but real. "Thank you. You're very beautiful too." "Do you like dolphins?" "I accomplish." "Do you desire to observe my dolphin illustration? I created it in art class. I would care for too." Maya ascended into the back seat, pulled out a crumpled portion of paper, demonstrated it to Elena. They observed at it together. Elena inquired questions. Maya answered. And for the first occasion since Gabriel had encountered her, Elena appeared completely at ease. She transported them residence. Gabriel attempted to apologize again for the inconvenience. Elena waved him off. It was no inconvenience. They pulled up in front of Gabriel's apartment structure. It was not much. A small two-bedroom in a complex that had observed better decades. Maya unbuckled her seatbelt, leaned forward. "Do you desire to advance inside?" "We possess juice boxes," Elena observed at Gabriel. He should state no, should thank her and let her depart. But he didn't. "You're welcome to advance in," he stated. She deactivated the engine. Inside, the apartment was small, but clean. Maya's illustrations covered the refrigerator. Her playthings were scattered across the living space ground. Elena did not appear to perceive. She sat on the couch while Maya brought her a juice box and 4 more dolphin illustrations. Gabriel created coffee, remained in the kitchen, and observed them. Elena listened to Maya communicate about her day, with the identical focus she brought to executive meetings. She inquired follow-up questions, laughed at Maya's jokes, and Maya, who was typically shy around strangers, blossomed under the attention. An hour afterward, Maya yawned. Gabriel examined the time. Almost 7. "Bath time, sweetheart." "Can Miss Elena remain for dinner?" Gabriel observed at Elena. She met his eyes. Something unspoken passed between them. "I should advance," Elena stated, but she didn't rise. "Please remain," Maya stated. "Father creates beneficial spaghetti." Elena smiled. "I'm certain he accomplishes." She remained. Gabriel cooked. Elena assisted Maya arrange the table. They consumed together. The conversation was easy, light. Maya inquired Elena about her position. Elena answered in terms a 7-year-old could comprehend. Maya shared tales about school. Elena listened. After dinner, Gabriel positioned Maya to bed. When he returned to the living space, Elena was standing by the door with her coat on. "Thank you for today," Gabriel stated. "You already thanked me 4 times. I understand. But I intend it." She observed at him, the identical way she had observed at him in the restaurant, in the vehicle, in the workspace, like she was observing something she hadn't expected to discover. "She's wonderful," Elena stated. "You're accomplishing a beneficial position. I forgot to collect her. And you repaired it. That's what matters." They remained in the doorway. The space between them sensed smaller than it should. "I should let you advance," Gabriel stated. "Yes, you should." Neither of them advanced. Elena extended for the door handle, halted, turned back. "The door you opened," she stated quietly. "That Wednesday? Perhaps it wasn't the incorrect door." Gabriel's respiration caught. "What do you intend?" "I intend perhaps it was precisely the door you were meant to open." She departed before he could respond. Gabriel remained in the empty corridor. Listened to her footsteps fade. Closed the door, leaned against it. Everything had just altered. Over the next 4 weeks, Elena arrived to dinner twice more. She brought Maya books about space, about dolphins. She sat on the ground and assisted construct blanket fortresses. She laughed at Maya's jokes, and she observed at Gabriel when she believed he wasn't observing. He was always observing. One evening in late December, after Maya was in bed, they sat on the balcony. The atmosphere was cold, the street was quiet. "I've been thinking," Elena stated. "About what?" "About doors, about mistakes, about the things we inform ourselves to remain secure." Gabriel observed at her. "What have you been informing yourself? That I don't possess time for this, that it's inappropriate, that I'm your superior and you're my employee, and there are regulations for a reason. Those are beneficial reasons. They're logical reasons, but they're not the whole truth." "What's the whole truth?" Elena turned to face him. The streetlight caught her eyes, created them softer, warmer. "The truth is that the door you opened wasn't a mistake. It was the first honest thing that's occurred to me in years, and I don't desire to return to pretending it didn't." Gabriel could not respire, could not think, could only sense the burden of what she was stating. "I don't desire to return either," he stated. She smiled, a real smile, full, unguarded. "Then perhaps we don't possess to." She rose, he rose. They faced each other in the dim illumination. "This is the finest mistake I've ever created," Gabriel stated. Elena extended for his hand, held it. "Then let's create it on purpose." And for the first occasion in 3 years, Gabriel trusted that everything might actually be acceptable. January arrived rapid. The project was ahead of schedule. Gabriel had assembled a small team, constructed the framework, tested the system with 4 pilot clients. The results were better than projected. Elena examined his weekly assessments with the identical sharp focus she brought to everything. But now, when their meetings concluded, she remained. They communicated about operate, about Maya, about nothing significant, and everything that mattered. They were cautious. Nobody at the workspace understood. They maintained their distance in public. Separate elevators, no lingering glances in the corridor. But twice weekly, Elena arrived to dinner. Maya had started contacting her Miss L.A. She brought illustrations residents from school, specifically to demonstrate her. Gabriel had not sensed this settled in years, like he was constructing something real, something that could persist. Then, Vincent perceived. Vincent Hayes was Senior Vice President of Operations. He had been with the enterprise for 17 years. He was the kind of man who smiled when he communicated, but never with his eyes. Gabriel was departing Elena's workspace one Friday afternoon when Vincent stepped out of the elevator. He glanced at Gabriel, then at the workspace door. His expression did not alter, but something sharpened in his gaze. "Torres, correct? The new project lead?" "Yes, sir, expending a lot of time up here lately. The project requires close collaboration." Vincent smiled. "I'm certain it accomplishes." He proceeded past. Gabriel remained there. A cold sensation settled in his chest. The following week, Vincent attended one of their progress meetings. He sat in the corner, did not communicate, just observed, occupied notes. When the meeting concluded, he shook Gabriel's hand. "Impressive operate, very impressive, especially for someone who was filing assessments 3 months ago." Gabriel compelled a smile. "Thank you." After Vincent departed, Elena closed the door, turned to Gabriel. "He's fishing," she stated. "For what?" "Anything he can use. Vincent has desired my position for years. If he believes he can leverage something against me, he will. Should we? We should accomplish nothing differently. We're managing a project. That's all anyone requires to understand." Gabriel could observe the tension in her shoulders, the way her jaw tightened. She was concerned. 3 weeks afterward, the board requested a review. Unscheduled, immediate. Elena was contacted into a closed session. She returned an hour afterward. Her face was composed, but her hands were clenched. "They inquired about you," she stated. Gabriel's stomach dropped. "What did they inquire?" "Why I provided the project to someone with limited experience." whether my judgment was compromised, whether there was any conflict of interest. What did you inform them? I informed them your results communicate for themselves. I demonstrated them the data, the client feedback, the efficiency improvements. They possessed nothing concrete, just suspicion. Suspicion is sufficient. Elena met his eyes. Not if we finish strong. The final presentation is in 4 weeks. If you deliver, they'll possess to accept that I created the correct call. And if I don't, then Vincent wins. Gabriel operated 20-hour days. He refined every detail, rehearsed every slide, managed scenario analyses until his eyes burned. Elena examined his operate, pushed him harder. She didn't arrive to dinner, didn't contact. They barely communicated outside of project updates. Maya perceived. One evening she ascended into Gabriel's lap while he was advancing over spreadsheets. "Is Miss L mad at us?" she inquired. "No, sweetheart, she's just occupied." "Does she still care for us?" Gabriel held her close. "She still cares for us." But he wasn't certain anymore. The evening before the presentation, Gabriel sat in his apartment, observed at his laptop. Everything was prepared. The numbers were solid. The presentation was flawless. But his hands were trembling. If this unsuccessful, he lost the position, lost the opportunity. Elena lost credibility. And whatever they had been constructing together would collapse under the burden of corporate politics. He believed about contacting her, decided against it, advanced to bed, didn't sleep. The presentation was scheduled for 11 a.m., full board attendance. Vincent would be present. Gabriel arrived at 10:30. Elena was already in the meeting space. She observed at him. "Are you prepared?" she inquired. "I believe so." "Believe is not sufficient." "I'm prepared," she acknowledged. "Gabriel, regardless of what occurs today, you accomplished excellent operate. I desire you to understand that." It sounded like goodbye. Gabriel despised it. The board filed in, occupied their seats. Vincent sat directly across from Gabriel, smiled that empty smile. Gabriel began. He preceded them through the entire system, demonstrated the before and after metrics. Client retention had increased by 26%, processing time had dropped by 41%, revenue per client was up, costs were down, every projection had been met or exceeded. He answered questions, handled pushback, remained calm when Vincent inquired pointed questions about resource allocation. Elena did not intervene, just observed, let him prove himself. When he finished, the space was quiet. The CFO communicated first. "This is solid operate, Torres." "Better than solid," the head of investor relations acknowledged. "I desire to implement this enterprise-wide. How soon can we scale?" Vincent leaned back in his chair, stated nothing. Elena rose. "I believe that answers your earlier concerns about my judgment. Gabriel was the correct choice. The results prove it." The board agreed. The meeting concluded. People shook Gabriel's hand, congratulated him. Vincent departed without a utterance. When the space emptied, Elena turned to Gabriel. For the first occasion in 4 weeks, she smiled. "You accomplished it," she stated. "We accomplished it." "No, you accomplished. I just provided you the chance." They remained there. The space between them sensed vast. All the things they had not stated. "I desire to accomplish this correct," she stated. "I desire to protect you. And Maya. I don't desire you to lose your position because of me." "What are you stating?" "I'm stating we wait 7 months. We maintain this private, let the dust settle, and then, when the time is correct, we cease hiding." Gabriel desired to argue, desired to state 7 months, was excessive long, but he comprehended. She was protecting them, protecting Maya. 7 months, he stated. "And then we construct something real." She squeezed his hand. "Deal." 7 months afterward, on a warm evening in late August, Gabriel remained on his balcony. Maya was beside him. Elena was on her other side, the three of them observing the sunset, paint the sky orange and pink and gold. Maya held both their hands. She had been inquiring all week when Miss L was advancing in. Gabriel had informed her soon. Not yet, but soon. Today, Elena had informed the board. Created it official. Weathered the raised eyebrows and the cautious questions. Remained firm. Now she was here. where she had been every weekend for the past 7 months. Where she belonged. I was thinking, Elena stated quietly. Gabriel observed at her. About what? About constructing something new. The three of us, if you're willing. Maya glanced up. Does that intend your remaining? Elena crouched down, met her eyes. If you desire me to, I desire you to. Forever. Elena's smile was gentle, genuine. The surfaces completely vanished. Forever sounds perfect. She rose, observed at Gabriel. He extended for her hand. Together, he stated. Together, she agreed. And for the first occasion, since that door opened, since that impossible instant that should have ruined everything, Gabriel sensed complete. They had constructed something real, something that mattered, something worth every risk. The sun dipped below the horizon. The three of them remained together, and nobody desired to return to the way things were before.